the
Well,
final
I appreciate, we're back.
segment.
I guess we're back from the break, Ericka, which is great.
Yes.
The man in charge, Ben in the background, letting us know that, the commercial break is over. And another great commercial, by the way. Actually go out and support our sponsors. And before I forget about it, support us. Those of you listening on the radio.
That's right.
Call in, do whatever you need to do. Tell your neighbors, friends and neighbors, we're on. Listen to us live. Really important. But it's also, I see on the screen, for those who are watching on video, like, share, and subscribe. What does that mean?
So if you're watching on any social media, there's a little button with a thumbs up, there's a heart, something like that. So we say like it. So whatever that means on whatever platform you're watching, give us a 5-star review if you're watching or if you're listening into any of your podcast apps. Share it. You can share this video with your friends. Share the radio program with your friends. Tell people to listen and subscribe. That's just whatever platform you're watching or listening on, there's some option to make sure you can follow, subscribe, and it doesn't cost you a thing.
And be honest, go into the what's it called when you make a comment section?
Comments. Yeah, comment section.
I can't wait for Robert to get back. Who's this guy bumbling on and making funny faces and those kind of things. I mean, we've already got Ericka who's could bring a little comic relief to it. So be honest. But, if you want to see me back, maybe as a guest, maybe with Robert and Ericka together at some point, mention that. Click on that like button. Certainly let us know that you're watching. Let us know what's good, what's bad. What's that, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's right.
So be very honest about it. And please let us know because it's really important because we're not going to get any better without your help.
That's right.
So if you've got a suggestion, if you like Ericka's hat or you don't like her hat, if you want to go back to, I remember Robert talking about the red lipstick, a little bit of orange lipstick. Maybe you want Robert to wear lipstick. I mean, let us know. Let us know how you feel about that.
We'll get him some blue lipstick to match his suit jacket. Yeah, dude.
If this head is glowing too much on you, and you've got an issue with that, join us, have some fun. What we're talking about are very, very serious issues. But we don't take ourselves seriously. Well, I don't.
Can't take yourself too seriously.
No, because people will laugh at me instead of laughing with us.
That's
so
right.
Let's make sure we have a good time and we enjoy ourselves. But the exceptionalism that made America great takes our focus, takes our energy, and we need to talk about that as well. So one of the other cases that the Supreme Court is talking about, everyone's calling it the Trump immunity case.
Yeah, right. Okay,
so
I'm really looking forward to your commentary on this.
Well, one of the big things is whether or not he can stand trial on crimes that he committed while being president.
That's the substantial question at hand, right? Like that's ultimately what it is.
Well, going back to a little bit about what we talked about with the Rahimi case and the dirtbag that was there and how the Supreme Court is separating the person from the law.
Yep.
So the arguments pre-trial, during the trial itself, before the Supreme Court, what they were talking about are two different things. The liberal justices want to talk Trump, 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 Trump. The conservative justices who follow the
law, science,
Constitution, science, all of those kind of things,
all of the above,
want to take a look at the presidency and the separation of powers. So they want to talk about what the president's rights are and what the presidential's official acts are versus things that are not official acts. And where's the fine line there as to what falls into the category of presidential immunity and which doesn't? And one of the things that the conservative justices said over and over was, we're not talking about President Trump here. What we're talking about is the office of the presidency.
Oh, wow.
And it's really important to get away from who the defendants are and the personalities involved and what your political viewpoints are, and break it down to what the Constitution is and what immunity is for the president. And this goes into a lot of different things, including top secret documents, all of those kind of things that are involved in what some people would consider a crime. This particular one is regarding January 6th and what his involvement was in what some people call a riot, some people call an insurrection. I've never seen an insurrection or an overthrow of the government without weapons, so I'm not really sure where anybody gets that concept.
Call me crazy. I'm pretty sure the only coup that happened that day was Mr. Milley and some of the generals. But, that's a conversation for another show.
Okay. So what we're really trying to do is talk about this being bigger than Trump. This really is an important case going forward about immunity and what the president has the authority to do.
Okay.
And we already have in place the process of impeachment and conviction. So there's a belief among many of us that the process is that should the president do something wrong that is outside the scope of his responsibilities, that there's a process called impeachment. And what the Democrats was very clear about in this last go around after January 6th was they impeached the president of the United States after he was out of office.
That's right. Oh.
So there is a method, there is a solution of dealing with misconduct as a president. It's called impeachment and conviction. And I truly believe, and I believe that some of the justices will also confirm that if you impeach the president and he's convicted by the Senate, that then those crimes can allow for convictions in the justice system afterwards.
Okay. Like outside of the
outside of the process. Because what they're saying is that the House has decided that they're impeachable offenses.
Yeah.
And the Senate is agreeing that he has done things that are crimes against the country. So then I believe you can prosecute a president. So that is not the case here.
Yeah, they didn't impeach him. They
did not impeach him. They did not find him guilty of any crimes.
Senate. Right.
So he's already been tried for this. So the reality is that he deserves to have immunity in these particular cases. So if we just look at the Trump part of this, he certainly should be immune from further prosecution because he's already been prosecuted for whatever crimes they say there are.
Well,
so in my opinion, what they need to decide on is what are official acts that the president can commit and do that are above and beyond the normal duties. So I don't know if I'm explaining that exactly.
Yeah, but that's what it basically has to be, something that's outside of what he does as being president. It has to be something unrelated to being president, which when you're president, what is unrelated to being president? He divested from his businesses, or not divested, that's not the right word, but basically like you have to do a thing for legal purposes, but like what is an example of that?
Well, one of the things they're trying to get him for is subversion of the 2020 election. So one of the things that we can talk about here is that they brought up situations like, what if he tried to do a coup?
Okay.
Is that within the realm of presidential responsibilities? And we go back to our Democratic former president, John F. Kennedy, who worked with the CIA to try to overthrow the Castro government in Cuba.
Right.
Does that mean that he should be prosecuted for crimes? Was that an act as a president, or was that an act as an individual looking to overthrow a foreign government, or was he acting on behalf of the United States government?
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
I mean, Okay.
So there are a lot of things that you look at in terms of things that are impeachable offenses, perhaps,
Yeah.
versus crimes that are outside the system, outside,
Right.
because the real remedy is impeachment and conviction.
Well, and
So
but I think, I mean, you say the real remedy is impeachment, but obviously that wasn't enough. They've just, love him or hate him, they have been looking for, they literally are prosecuting him for non-crimes at this point.
right.
And so even if you get in the realm of a crime, unfortunately, I think a lot of the American people are just not taking any of this stuff seriously anymore.
Yeah, the liberal justices are trying to say that if you give blanket immunity,
Okay.
it allows presidents while in office to commit any crime that they want.
Like war crimes or murder,
Murder, anything, because you're
other
giving
words that
blanket
we're not
immunity.
allowed to say on YouTube.
Right. But what Alito in particular is saying, that you're looking at a destabilization of democracy. Because let's say this very tight race that we had between Biden and Trump, we've already seen the weaponizing of the Justice Department against Donald Trump.
That's right.
So if there's no immunity at all, that allows the Justice Department to go after Trump for jaywalking. That allows him for, to be with other people and to pick every crime that you can possibly think about.
Right.
And it's very, I'm trying to think of the word of it, but what really needs to happen here is that they need to come up with some type of system, maybe it's Congress or whatever, to talk about the scope of immunity. When will the president have immunity? I think it's very clear that there's no subversion of the 2020 election, and they're going to say that, there's no way they can prosecute him for that. But we do need to have some type of rules and regulations saying, he can't really just walk out and shoot a reporter in the Rose Garden. So there needs to be a definition of what.
That is so.
Immunity.
Yeah, that's and what are presidential duties? I mean, this is so fascinating, and this is going to prove, I think, a lot about our current Supreme Court and what we have going on. I cannot wait to see what Ketanji Brown Jackson says that she can't speak to because she doesn't have a degree in it, or like this is. Here's my thought. I need to go pop some popcorn and get ready for the Supreme Court decisions to start rolling out this summer, because it's going to be fire. People are going to go crazy. There's going to be riots. Maybe I can't say that. YouTube, I'm speculating. I'm not saying people should go do that. I'm not promoting violence. I'm just saying that I feel like no matter, Jay, do you get the feeling like no matter what the outcome of the election is, that it's going to be a problem?
I believe there's going to be issues regardless. I think both sides, because the country's so evenly divided that half the people in the country are not going to be happy.
Yeah.
But I think it comes back. The one thing I want to go back to about the Supreme Court and how wonderful they are is they are not tied. They are not tied to precedent. Looking at things that is nonpartisan, that is really reflective of what their job is and what their responsibilities are. It's not how they feel. Feelings are nice in a romantic situation, but I don't want our Supreme Court people to be romantic with each other. I want them to follow the science, and I want them to follow the Constitution, and I want them to continue to be brave. And to say, just because you did it that way in the past doesn't mean that's the way it should be done in the future.
Yeah.
So America, support our members on the Supreme Court. This whole distraction with Alito and Thomas and all of that is they're trying to cancel them. It's part of their
Yep.
cancel culture, and they're going after the biggest dogs in the yard. So they need to be not afraid. They need to say, guess what? 70 cases are wrong that they gave it to the administrative state, and they need to overrule the Chevron deference. Stand up, make this government work. Don't let it be run by unelected officials that think there's something special when they're not. The Constitution rules in this country, and our last leg of hope for this country is this Supreme Court. And let's support them each and every way that we possibly can. So that's my rant for the day.
I love it. I'm with it, Jay. I'm totally feeling it. I am curious, what do you think will be the most impactful of the cases that you've seen this year? You think it's going to be Chevron?
I believe it's going to be Chevron, because the other thing that, when you look at the Chevron case, it affects so many other parts of government. It really reinforces the separation of powers. It separates and gives the power back to the judiciary, but it also makes Congress live up to their responsibilities of writing laws and rules and regulations and not leaving it to other people to do. They need to step up and take responsibility and not just waffle and be wusses about it so that they get reelected. Just do your job, Congress, and we wouldn't have these issues, and you don't push it down to people that we did not vote for, or we did not elect, and in many cases, we don't even like.
That's right. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. We have been so pleased to have Jay Shepard with us today, filling in for Robert Chernin. Robert will be back in a couple weeks after he takes a little break. I guess he thinks he deserves like vacations and stuff. I don't know why. I'm not in charge. I'm not the boss here. So like we said earlier, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you come check us out next week. And Jay, where can they follow you on Twitter?
I'm at Jay the Shepherd 1 on Twitter. You won't find me many other places. Usually if I'm not on Twitter, I'm at home in my basement, listening to music and following what's going on in this world.
I love it. And if you guys are not already following Jay the Shepherd 1, you absolutely have to. This guy is super funny, witty, and we love his takes. Jay, you are one in a million. I know we pick on you a lot, but it's because we love you, we respect you, and we think you're fabulous. So thank you for being...
greatly appreciate that. Thank you. And just one other thing before we go, if I have time.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that I spend half my time being witty, that I'm a half-wit, but we'll go on from there. It was great being with you, Ericka, and thank you for, getting me through this hour, and been in the back room. Thank you as well.
All right. See you next week, guys.